Hi there, Marshall here, and I'd like to invite you to join my email community where you can find additional tools, guidance, and support in healing your codependency, as well as follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram by looking up Heal Your Codependency with Marshall Bircher or clicking the links in the description. And you can listen to my episodes on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And now, on to today's episode. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to this episode of Heal Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Bircher, and I'm your guide in discovering more about who you are beyond your codependency and becoming your own inner advocate so you can get the joy, the peace, the freedom, and the relationships you want in your life. Today, I'm going to answer a question I received from one of y'all, and that is, why do I push people away? This is a question I imagine many of us have wondered ourselves. We find ourselves pushing people away that are good for us, that love us, that care about us, and pulling close those that are we feel very intensely about, but they also demonstrate unhealthy, harmful, incompatible behaviors in our world. So why do we push away the things that are good for us, especially healthy relationships and healthy people? This has to do with how our attachment system has been influenced and constructed from the day we were born. It has to do with how we relate to love, to intimacy, to our own worth, and ultimately, and at the most deepest of levels, it has to do with how safe we feel to be seen, to be known, and to be accepted. A lot of times when people approach this question of why do I push people away, it's often because we think we fear rejection. We think, hey, it's the rejection that I'm trying to avoid. And yeah, that's true. That's true. What I have found, though, is when we move past that rejection fear, there is a deeper sense of intrepidation that arises because now we're entering an unknown space. The unknown space of being accepted, being seen and known and accepted, being welcomed in, being received. That is often what's more intense for someone who's exiting codependency, for someone who's moving into interdependency, and starting to understand what's like to be seen, known, and received. Because at this point, our whole paradigm about the world, about ourselves, about others, it's in flux, it's in chaos because nothing makes sense. It's not doing what it did in the past. Instead, now that this person's saying yes, this person's saying, oh, I understand. Person's staying with me even though I'm struggling, or I'm expressing some pain or anger, or I've acted out in some way that wasn't necessarily healthy, but was really an expression of my pain. And they saw it and they're like, I know what's going on there. That's your pain. And they stay there. They connect with it. They become more present. That's a very confusing, dysregulating, and sometimes, or frequently rather, overwhelming experience when we have never really been known that way, never been connected to that way. And really that's what we're looking for, is to be known that way, to be received that way, to be held that way. This is the paradox that we experience as we emerge from codependency, is the healthy things are going to be scary. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be unknown to us. Because yes, in our fantasies and the ideas we have in our head about what it'll be like, it's fun. It's kind of exciting. Ooh. But the reality, when that comes into play, there's a lot of intensity, especially for our nervous system, for our attachment system, because our body's interpreting these signals based on its past, based on what it's been through, and so it's going, ooh, this might be a threat. Last time someone drew close to us, we got really harmed. We've been shamed when we've revealed ourselves to someone. So our body is now anticipating being shamed. It's anticipating being harmed. And so the idea of being accepted, being known that way without these behaviors showing up, is very, very confusing to the body. So what do I do with this then? How do I control this? How do I know what's real now? The important thing here is to know, first of all, that this is normal. I have gone through this numerous times in my healing journey where I do a thing and the person's like, yeah, I see that. No big deal to me. Like, one of the first times that this was really potent for me was I was with a friend and I had expressed some anger and I had pounded my fists because I was really upset and really scared. And she sat there and I looked at her and I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, you know what? I'm not scared. You're angry. It's all good. Tell me more. I was profound to be met in that space, to be understood in that space. I've had moments where I've exploded or where I've collapsed or where I've ran from my relationships and the other person's like, yeah, I get it. I see where you're coming from and I'm here and I'm listening. Now, in that was also an agreement that would be behavior I no longer do. Instead, I'd lean towards the pain. I'd lean towards the terror. I'd lean towards the shame. And as I've done that, this has built a stronger, more intimate, more connected relationship with these people. This is what it means to be accepted. This is what it means to actually work in an interdependent relationship where we're seen, we're known, we're valued. And our pain is valued. Our wants are valued. We're understood. And we're cared for. Where repair is made, where trust is maintained. Often we push people away because we don't know what else to do. We don't know how to be in an accepted space. We don't know how to be in a space where we're received and loved. So the place we start here is acknowledging that, yeah, this is a very hard thing to do. It's hard to be accepted. It's hard to learn how to be included, how to let ourselves be there and to receive it. And with that acknowledgement, then we can open up to leaning into the connection, leaning into being received. Rather than pushing away, we pull a little closer. That person, we allow ourselves to be known just a little bit more. We allow ourselves to feel the discomfort just a little longer and connect a little deeper. And then we can step back and give ourselves the space we need to observe, to regulate, to soothe, to integrate, to process. And then we pull a little closer again. Let ourselves feel that intensity. Let ourselves walk that unknown. And then we take some space, process, and then we move back in, do it again, and then back into space. What we're doing here is we're titrating proximity or closeness with space. We're like, I'm going to draw close and let myself get used to this. I'm going to take some space, let myself process with it. This helps us organically, gently adapt to being received, to being accepted, to being known, and to pulling a little closer with another person, rather than pushing them away. We can allow ourselves to feel the big impulse of wanting to push them away, that urge in our body, like, whoa. We can allow ourselves to feel that. And then we can pivot towards a soothing, comforting space. Allow ourselves to lean into being connected with that. And then back to that pushing away sensation and back to the soothing thing. This allows us to titrate and experience both sides, soothing and caring for the pain and distress and fear we feel in that closeness. This is how we learn how to build somatic, secure attachment with people who are receiving us, with people who care about us. We know they care about us by what they do, not just by what they say. We're able to share our conflicts, share our fears, share our joys, and we're consistently received with warmth, care, and with a sense of priority. We push away because we don't know what else to do to feel safe. So the work now is to pull a little closer and learn how to build, or practice building that capacity, building that tolerance, building experience with being closer. That's our work. So, my friends, that is today's episode. If you want assistance with this, I recommend starting with the daily regulation practices. You can get that by clicking on my resource link in the description. As well, if you got a question you want me to answer for you, submit it to me using the Ask Marshall a Question link in the description, or send me an email. You can send it on the contact form at healyourcodependency.com. Come and join us. And I'll come share your questions with me, and then I'll make an episode for you. So thank you again, my friends, for doing this, for being here, for doing the big work, for allowing me to be a part of your healing journey. Go gently with yourselves, and I'll see you guys in our next episode.